Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Housing for Good. I'm Karolyn.
And I'm Chris.
All right, Chris, I have had one heck of a morning.
You really have.
Do you have news?
No. I thought I had news. And, I kind of looked at that bill that just passed.
Oh, yeah.
And I was but I haven't had a lot of time to dig into it to see how it's going to affect positively or negatively. Mm-hmm. I just don't know where we're going with all this stuff. You know what I mean? Where are we going? Are we going in the right direction? Are we taking 50 steps back?
Yeah.
It's so complicated.
It is. It's very, very complicated. And so let's just say our news for today is that CHS,
yes,
they've given us 2 Friday mornings with volunteers to come and plant, to move topsoil. Like they have, I think we've had probably 14 volunteers over 2 days, and they have done so much help. So thank you to CHS for allowing them to come and help us. And
that was
we
great.
really appreciate our local industries supporting us.
And if you are part of a group, call us. We'll be happy to have. We can find something for you to do. I trust me. We can find something for you to do. So if you want to come and help us move dirt or put down, what is that stuff called? Barrier, so you can put plants on there and weeds don't pop up. Although I don't think it really works. We have plants to put in. We have all this stuff that needs to be done. So
the work never ends.
The work never ends. But if you have a group that wants to volunteer to do something, we would love to have you.
We would absolutely welcome that. So
All right.
So today we are being joined by Cathy Brown at Central College. So Cathy, welcome. First of all, let's start with, tell us your role as Vice President of Transformation and Achievement at Central Christian College, and what does that title encompass?
That sounds very sophisticated, doesn't it?
I know.
I'm like, wow, transformation, and what was the other thing? Oh, achievement.
Yeah.
So what is that?
Well, thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. I think this is a great topic to talk about today. My role at Central is really where I'm combining both worlds of academic and student life. And in the student life world, it does revolve around housing and housing needs of students that are coming to campus. And so I also lead initiatives that improve student success that include retention and recruitment all the way through graduation. And the transformation portion of my role really deals with focusing on growth of the student, the holistic approach of growth. And then the achievement obviously is measurable outcomes like persisting, passing their classes, and being able to graduate. So it's a lot. Awesome. It's a big title, but...
Yeah, that is a big title. But I think it's really important, isn't it?
It is really important.
It's really important.
But as she's saying all of that, what went through my mind is, as parents, we've raised our kids, and so now we have them ready to go to college. And this is the woman that assumes the role of leaving off where taking up where the parents left off.
That's funny. And, both of us have a connection. My daughter-in-law, Alana Milner Murphy, she went there, and your daughter... Candace went there as well. So, we have a connection to you.
Small world.
It is a very small world. Not really. We live in McPherson, but whatever. Yeah.
But you are right. I think as a parent, I have college-age students too. When you're sending them off to college, it's a little chaotic and a little unknown because, a lot of our students come from afar. And they have a lot of questions about housing. They call our office a lot about that. And there's a lot of insecurities about, like, where am I going to be placed? Who am I going to be placed with? Am I going to like my people? Am I going to be able to build community?
And am I going to like them?
Yeah.
Nothing's worse than a terrible roommate, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Funny.
But, it can be really unnerving when you think So this happened to my daughter, and it wasn't at Central. But she went to school thinking she was going to have one roommate, only to get there and then find out the roommate decided not to come at all. Oh. And so they put her with somebody that she didn't have a chance to connect with ahead of time. It was just not a good situation. So I really appreciate the position that you're in. And so, yes.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so what drew you to higher education? How did you get connected to all of this?
I think the bottom line for me is I love helping people. It's part of my DNA. My previous role before higher ed was in the K-12 world, so I have a certificate for teaching and a principalship. And as I got about 15, 16 years in, I thought, you know what, maybe I'm done with elementary students. Let's see what we could do for higher ed. And so I actually came to Central in 2017. Our family moved to Kansas from living in South America for a couple years.
Wow.
And I was working in the teacher education department, and I really felt some calling to do that and to kind of help train up other teachers. My husband teaches at the middle school, so teaching is, part of our DNA as a family. And so that's kind of what brought me into higher ed.
Okay. All right. So we love talking about housing and all things housing.
Yes,
How does student housing fit into the broader mission of helping students succeed?
Well, we've touched upon it a little bit, but housing is often where students spend most of their outside of class or sports time. And so it is truly their home away from home. And our role in student life when it comes to housing is to really help provide the structure that's needed, the safety, proximity to campus, and academic support systems and things like that, but also to help create daily opportunities for students to really just connect, have a sense of belonging, and have opportunities to engage with their peers, whether they're in the same sport or same department or the broader community of Central.
So it really is like it's a basic need.
It's a basic need.
It's a basic need that your students have. I mean, I'm not going to say it comes first, but it's pretty close to the top.
It's pretty close.
Because if you're not able to have a stable home, just like we were talking about having that nurse that was living in her car, I don't know how she was doing that.
Yeah.
But if they don't have housing and they don't feel comfortable, you might as well forget the rest of it.
Yeah.
They need to be able to sleep and eat and feel safe.
Oh, right. If students are not feeling that safety or feeling like they can have that home away from home experience, their stability reduces, it increases stress, and it impacts academics, and it just causes some other issues, especially when the predictability is becoming chaotic. Sometimes students have opportunities to get to know who your person is prior to coming. Others, they don't. And so we do have some systems in place that kind of help assist with that. But then sometimes even when you get to campus, you may not like who you're living with. So we also have systems put in place to allow students the opportunity to make some shifts early on.
Yeah. Okay. So do you, okay, I hate to use this word. Do you group them? Do you house them based upon, like, maybe they're on the same sports team? Maybe they're going for the same degree? Is there any of that goes into what you're doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we blend a little bit of all of those things together. We do have some coaches that come in and say, hey, I think these two students would pair well together or not pair well together. So they kind of help guide us in that situation. We also might have students who are returning who might know a new student who's coming that might ask, like, hey, I have somebody that I know that might be arriving. Can I room with them? Sometimes we don't know. We have a questionnaire that goes out to all students. It's called our housing questionnaire, and it has a lot of different questions about, are you a night owl? Are you a morning person? Do you like loud music? What kind of music do you like? Do you stay up late? What is your faith background? How do you deal with challenges and things like that?
Yeah.
And then we, on our housing side, kind of try to place people together based on paper with what similarities might look like. Most of the time it helps and it works, but there's occasionally sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but we do have those things in place.
That's awesome. I know my kids are still best friends with the kids that they roomed with in college.
Yeah.
They still, my one son, he has ski trips. They have an annual ski trip with all his friends from college. And my other son, it's the same thing. They hang out, they call each other, they keep tabs on one another. It's kind of cool. People don't understand how important those relationships are while you're there.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Well, and those things that she pointed out about whether or not you like to stay up late or get up early, like the ability to learn and to thrive, other people and what the impact they have on you does make a difference in that. So, okay. So what are some challenges that students today face that previous generations may not have experienced or had to worry about?
Yeah, I think now, and maybe it could be that we're just talking about it more so than maybe in the probably 50s to 90s we would have talked about it, but mental health is a huge issue. We have a lot of students who are dealing with some heavy things that they come to college with. We have a lot of students coming to school with some traumatic backgrounds that we have to deal with. A lot of our students at Central are not local. A lot of them are coming from the Texas, Oklahoma, California regions, and so some of them are really far from home. There is a greater financial strain. Many of our students are athletes, which takes up 20% of, about 20 hours a week is dedicated to their sport. And then they have their classes. And many of our students do have have a job to help offset college costs. And so their time commitment is a strain that maybe you would not have had, maybe 10 or 15 years ago. But they're trying to help. They don't want to have a lot of debt, so they're trying to help their parents and pay for college. And then, of course, I think one big thing that we have an issue with today that we didn't have even whenever I went to college in the 90s, social media has a huge impact on student identity, how they're comparing with each other. And even though it makes us more connected, it's more of an isolation issue when they're spending hours of time on social media. That becomes a problem.
So I was thinking about that when you said 20%, and I know you meant 20 hours, but I know when my kid was in college doing a sport, I think he spent 80% of his time on that sport. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot more than it ever was before.
Yeah,
it's so much more competitive. It takes up more time. There's so many pieces and things that they have to deal with, especially with sports. I mean, I think you're seeing a lot of kids, depending on what sport they're in and where they're going to school. Like my son didn't work through college. There is no way that he could have done that sport he did and work. He couldn't have done it. I mean, it would have never happened for him. So, but I want to know how you are dealing with, how do you bring community together with the kids so that they feel safe and they have a great time? You need to have fun when you're in school. That's really important. Yeah. My kids, they did that right. I just want to say that to you. They knew how to have fun in college, both of them. They were like professionals. They could teach classes on how to have a great time. Now, you don't want to send any of your children to them to learn these things. But,
that's right.
But nobody got in trouble, but they had a great time.
Yeah.
I think you hit upon something that I think is the unknown quantifier in higher ed that I think is so very important, that I think sometimes goes undernoticed, is having dedicated opportunities for students to engage with each other and to be able to have connections more so than just their major or their sport. We are 96% athletics on campus, so that a lot of our students are spending a lot of time with their prospective teammates. And so we try to give activities that are built around the community that they either live in or cross-culturally around the whole campus, so that we can give them opportunities to see different perspectives or different people that maybe you're a non-athlete and you're on campus, that you have just as much to contribute to the community than, even though you're only 4% on Central's campus.
Tiny little thing,
But we also have a dedicated staff that provides mentorship and guidance, and that create the weekly activities that we are doing with our students. Then we have very specific things we do in the dorm to help build community, and it's all about engaging and giving students opportunities to find their way to engage.
So thinking about Central, it's a little bit smaller school. There's a lot of benefits to that. How does that play into all of this?
Well, one really great thing is everyone knows everyone, which is great because students will report that it's easy to interact with other people on campus and get out of their, per se, comfort zone because we are so small, and we only have roughly about 360 something students on campus. So that makes it really easy to kind of hip hop in and out of different groups. And I think for students, they like that opportunity because it's not just one group, one thing, one opportunity. It gives them multiple opportunities to kind of connect with other people on campus. And I think that's one thing that's really nice about a small campus.
Yeah. It's a cool campus, but if you haven't been there, you should visit. It's a really cool campus.
It is a very cool campus.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would be some misconceptions that people have about student housing? I know years ago when my daughters went to school, you moved them into the dorm, and that's not necessarily the only place where students find housing.
Yeah, I think some misconceptions that people think about student housing is it's a whole lot more than just simply a place to go and sleep. It becomes a community amongst our community. So we have different communities on campus, right? You have, the people who are in your degree. You have people who are on your athletic team. And then you have people who are in your dorm. And then we have the broader campus community where you have all the different dorms and different people on campus. But it's a learning environment. And I don't think people understand that there's a whole development theory. It's called student development theory that goes along with housing and with the importance of belonging and engagement. And we have to work really hard at giving kids opportunities to engage with other people, but not in a forced way, but providing them the outlet to start to engage in their own friend groups instead of, always just being, again, with their team or their sport. But some students come to college and they are super independent and they are capable human beings who can do everything with little aid or support. And then you have other people who their maturity is a little bit less, and so they need a lot more hands-on support with just learning how to navigate college, learning how to be organized, learning how to do some different things that we work on in our housing specifically because they are very close-knit with the people that they live with, so we have people in there to help them navigate those. So if those things are not in place, then that directly impacts academics.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about what types of housing. Are you building a tiny home village?
We are building a semi-quasi tiny home village, not as small. Each building is not going to be as small. We do have a new build that's starting this year that we are really excited about. It's going to house 24 students. It is a tinier build for a dorm per se. It's going to be almost like, I would probably say like a duplex almost, where it houses, like there's two different apartments on the bottom and then there's two up top.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be 2-story and it'll house 24 students, and that's going to start. We did a groundbreaking ceremony in April, so we're really excited about that.
Okay. That's really cool.
We also have dorms. I don't know if everyone probably knows that already, but we have 4 dedicated dorms on campus, and then we do have some apartments on campus that are for student housing, and then we do have many houses that are on the perimeter of campus that we own, that we do put students in for housing as well.
Okay. So is the goal to keep everybody close to campus if you can?
Yeah, that pretty much is our goal. We are a residential campus, so the majority of our students live on campus. I think we're sitting at 94% of our students who are enrolled as a residential full-time student actually live on campus.
Okay. And you mentioned your student housing staff. So how do they identify and then respond to students that may be struggling? You mentioned, everybody comes in at a kind of different level of independence or whatever. And so how do they identify if somebody's struggling?
Yeah, so some of the tasks that we ask our residential directors, which are the adult in the system, and then there's resident advisors that are the students who we provide housing for them to help become part of the leadership on campus. We have specific tasks that we ask them to do where they are supposed to connect with different people within their hallways. And so there's a checklist that they have that they're using as a guide to help dig in a little bit to start that building of the relationships with people. So that's one way. We also work really hand in hand with the faculty on the other side of the house. So if faculty start seeing students that are either reporting or not reporting, I can't come to class today, I'm not feeling well, or something's heavy going on, then they also then connect with our office, and then we connect with the RDs and the RAs to say, hey, can you go do a check on somebody? Because I'm getting a report that something might not be going on well today.
Okay.
This is really interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. So Central is part of our community. How does that broader role, how do you play a part of the broader role of our community? What does that look like for the students, for you, for people in the community? What are the pros and cons of benefits? What does that look like?
Well, I think one benefit that's mutually beneficial would be while students are in college, a lot of our students are working within the community. A lot of our students are working as paraeducators in the education system here in the community. Some others have internships within and around the community, and some of those opportunities turn into jobs for people. And that also gives them an opportunity. We've had several students who are like, I'm never living in Kansas, and then they graduated and they're still living here because they have, become one with the community. And some of them, it was because of the internships or the experience that they had while they were in college, and they just fell in love with the area. And so so that's, while they're doing their schooling, but that is preparing them to contribute to the local workforce and leadership. We do partner with local organizations and schools to help, again, with the internships or job placements and things like that. And then we also host events to create shared opportunities for engagement. So, for example, in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be hosting an event for all the paraeducators for the McPherson County Special Education Co-op group. And this is something we do every year just for the paraeducators, where we actually put on a training. One of the 4 days is our staff giving training, professional development training to them, and then they bring in other outside people, but we host them every year. And so there's other opportunities that we have where we have partnerships. We have a new partnership with the police department where they have a VR, virtual reality tool that they're going to start using, and so they're going to be using that on our campus and then embedding that technology into some of our criminal justice classes, and so students are pretty excited about that.
That is cool.
I always love it when you're able to take real world and then put it into the education system, and then you're like, you go out into the world now and you can actually know something or be able to do it. I just think that's really cool.
And we have a brand new initiative that we're working on this year that you may or may not have heard about, but we have a partnership with a new manufacturing program that we're offering at Central, which is amazing. And we're going to be offering certificates for people and associates and a bachelor's level degree.
Oh, wow.
And we are working with local industries in manufacturing that have also come alongside our institution to help. They're going to be providing internships and job placements, and a lot of students are going to have an opportunity to really have a lot more hands-on experience and can choose if they want to just do certificates or they want to get their associates or they want to move on and get their bachelor's degree. But that's also helping with workforce
That's so cool.
development too.
You know what it makes me think of? We got to hurry up and build more housing for all these students who don't want to leave. It's always surprising to me when I hear. So I'm originally from California. That's where I grew up. And it always always makes me laugh. It's like, how are they getting all these students from California to come to Kansas? And then they come here and they're like, oh, this is all right. This is a great place to be.
I remember when I was the secretary / office manager at the Free Methodist Church, before I started working with you guys here at the Housing Coalition, and there would be kids that came in from like California and Texas, and it's winter.
Oh, yeah.
And they have no coat, and it's like, did you not research where you were coming to school?
They did not.
I when I moved here, I didn't know that pipes froze and that your car might not start.
Yeah.
And that you might have to shovel your driveway so you could get out of the driveway. I had never experienced that. I mean, it doesn't dawn on you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you're not from here or anywhere cold like this.
Yeah.
You don't even think about it.
So when I think of Central College, now I know you guys have changed your graduation time period. It used to be that you guys, the students were around during our May Day parade. All Schools Day parade.
All Schools Day, yes.
And the Central College kids would come through in white jumpsuits, and they would do the trash cleanup towards the end of the parade. And I always loved that because I knew where they were from. I knew that they were college kids. But what could our community do to better support the young adults as they transition from being at college to maybe deciding to stay here and work here and into the independence that we all want them to achieve?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, like you've already alluded to, is the stable housing options that are affordable for students here in the area. As we all know, it's really hard for students to, or even community members, to find places to rent sometimes.
Yeah.
We are a residential campus, so like I said, more often than not, our students are staying on campus. But even those who would qualify to be off and want to sometimes have a trouble or finding suitable locations that's within their budget. So that would probably be one thing. And I think just continuing to have expanded access for mentorship and the career development, I think with some of the programs that we're doing, I think that's helpful, but expanding that a little bit could be great. And then lastly, maybe having, creating inclusive spaces where young adults could feel that they could just go and hang out and do some things.
So what would that be? People say that kind of stuff all the time, and you're like, okay, what is that?
Right. I mean, I think our students would love a place that they could go and just chill, maybe work on some homework.
Like a coffee shop,
kind of like, yes, kind of like when we had the one down on Main Street.
The Well?
The Well, where you just would go in and they could sit. They could just
that was a big space.
That was big, but you could still feel like you could find your niche in a corner somewhere, and you weren't bothered by people. I know professors from Central actually taught classes over there. If you had a small 1 or 2 or 3 people in your class, they would go over there and teach, which was nice. So if we had more opportunities for people just to have a place, especially college people, let's face it, they like to stay up at late times and do homework. If we had something available for them, that was a safe place for them to just like go and stay instead of just, being back in their dorm at, 11 o'clock at night with nothing
let's
to do.
be honest. Everything closes down at like 6 o'clock on Sunday.
Oh, for sure.
So
I know.
We need some place that stays open later, some place where they can get something to drink and some nice furniture to sit on. And because I agree,
and access to Wi-Fi.
The well was amazing when we had that.
Yeah, that was disappointing when they closed. But and we need something like that. It seems like a lot of these places now are small.
Yeah.
Like if you go to the coffee shop downtown, there's not a lot of space in there. I mean, I've been in there before if you're lucky to find a spot.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're trying to do homework and there's all this noise. Yeah. That doesn't work, you know. And so as a person who's a perpetual education person who goes to school all the time, as my children accuse me of, I need quiet. I can't be somewhere with all these people making all this racket. I need quiet. And so I think that would be really important. I'm not sure who's going to do that, but it would be really cool to have that somewhere.
I think that there's some spaces downtown that, it's just figuring out how to pay the rent and have this available for our students.
So I know this is what we could do. When we build our clubhouse, which will be a pretty good size.
Oh, there you go.
Those students will be welcome to come to our clubhouse.
Yeah.
We're not going to have tons of people in there.
That's true.
And they could come and we could make an arrangement with the college and they could hang out.
Okay, so for anybody listening to the podcast, we only need $1.5 million to build this clubhouse because we're not finding any money from any federal agency at this point to help us with the clubhouse. And even though we want a tornado shelter underneath, just going to say, if you're hearing this and you think, ooh, I want to help them.
You know what else?
That would be what we could do.
We will name it after you, right?
We will let you name it,
So if you're Bob Smith, I'm just throwing that out there, Bob Smith, because I know a Bob Smith, and I'm not directing this at you, but if you happen to want something named after you, we will do it. A lot of things at our places have names. All the trees are my dad's trees that when he passed away and somebody else passed away, we named a couple houses after people. We'll do whatever. But anyways, that clubhouse, I'm excited about the possibility of that because, again, there could be some partnerships with the college. There could be maybe some of the students can come in and tutor some of our kids. We have a food pantry that we want to make it available to more people, more hours and stuff like that, and not just that, but toilet paper and paper towels and all those kind of things. Yeah. So anyways, so that's our commercial. So we need to get back to Cathy.
Okay. So
stop promoting ourselves.
So back to our discussion regarding student housing. So what lessons from student housing could apply to affordable housing or supportive housing programs?
I think if students are made aware that they have access to supportive services, whether it's through housing or other community services in the community, I think it improves long-term outcomes and potentially could lead to them wanting to stay in the area. And that helps with workforce development, right?
Yeah.
And I think just realizing that it's relationship-based support, not just physical space. And I think that's what we've been talking about today. It's more than just a bed. It's physically, mentally, spiritually. I mean, it's all of the things wrapped up into one as a holistic thing. It's more than just a bed.
Yeah.
So what trends are you seeing in student housing, support services, and all that? Are things changing even now? I know earlier you talked about from the 50s to the 90s we were doing something specific, but now is it changing again and evolving? What does that look like?
It's always evolving, yes, for sure. I think there is a greater focus really on the holistic student wellness. And when I say holistic, I'm really referring to, the safety within the dorm, the building communication and engagement opportunities within the dorm setting. Also, the academic support, the mental health side, all of those things kind of converging together into one. So that would be one trend that's happening. Increased attention to housing insecurity and basic needs. We have a lot I think Central is sitting at 71% of our student population are what we would consider first-generation college students,
wow.
meaning their parents did
Yeah.
not finish college. And so they come with a little bit more needs than a regular student who might have a parent who has attended college and understands the college lingo and understands the ecosystem of college. And so some of those are, sometimes it could be food insecurity, or it could be housing insecurity, or it could be, I don't have any idea even how to make a schedule or be organized. So we, on our campus, we're doing a better job of being really proactive instead of reactive in seeing students that have needs or that are showing signs of, like, we have some checklists in place, right? So if a student is already hitting those checklists, then we can start our intervention right away. And I think lastly is, I think in student life, there's a push for more data-informed approaches to retention and student success. And more so than just a number. I can tell you that, we may have raised a certain GPA, but that doesn't tell you the whole story unless you see the qualitative side of the whole story, and then the students who can report out that it was impacting them in a different way.
Yeah.
And I have to say, too, that right there is a benefit to having a smaller campus, right? Because you can spot it quicker, people know each other. That's a huge benefit to being in a smaller community, is that you can see things and handle them much quicker than if you have thousands of students. They could easily get lost.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that leads into, having a more personalized education and support system for students is helpful. Because, again, they're coming to us like in all facets. You have some that are super prepared, and then you have some who are super underprepared, and then everywhere else in between. And so it's our job to figure out where each student places on that continuum, and then support them wherever we do see a need.
Okay, so what did we miss? What do you want to say that we missed? We talked about a lot about housing, because that's what this is, housing for good. But we always also want to talk about the whole picture, not just the housing, how stable things are, how you get a student there, the smaller campus. What do we miss?
I think having a college campus in a community is an asset for not just the community, but also for the students that are taking part in the institution. I think for them to see that they are something, there's something greater than themselves is helpful, but also that they belong to an even greater ecosystem, because we talk a lot about ecosystems on campus, but that they also are within our community. And I think that's helpful. And I think the more opportunities that we have to build connections with people within the community, whether it is in housing or job force or whatever that may be, but just having more opportunities to connect students to those resources, I think benefits both parties.
Yeah, I would agree.
I will say, as an appraiser, I notice very quickly that the communities that I work in, when they have a college campus of some size, whether it's large or small, those communities are thriving. I have seen this more Sterling College, Sterling, McPherson, all of those communities that have colleges of where I work as an appraiser, I can totally tell you that there's a campus here, because it's unbelievable how much better they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that I live in a town with a college, actually two of them, but yeah. Okay, well, this has been another great episode.
This is good. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today, Cathy. If you would be interested, or you know somebody that would be interested in being on Housing for Good, drop us a line, leave us a review, ask us a question. Maybe you want to know where to send that $1.2 million you're going to donate. And you can do all of that at Housing for Good at McPhersonHC.org. Thank you for joining us.
And have a great day.